Alright, so as you can tell from the title and thumbnail of this video, something really interesting just happened literally a couple of minutes ago. If you were in my live stream earlier today, I told you that I would make a follow-up video the moment that anything changed whatsoever. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, here we are inside of the updates channel over on the official Discord server for Grow a Garden. And as of about 7 or 8 minutes ago, they went ahead and posted up a couple of fixes and changes that are actually pretty major to the entire event. Now, before we go into those details, let me give you guys a little bit of context on what exactly is being said here, because it could be a little confusing if maybe you haven't gotten to play the update yourself yet. So if you're just jumping on now for the very first time, let me give you guys the quick rundown. Obviously, a lot of the seeds inside of the seed shop have been completely changed. The only ones that really remained the same were carrot, strawberry, blueberry, and the tomato seed, as well as the watermelon seed. Can't forget about that one. Every single one of the other ones are pretty much considered summer seeds. Now, besides the seeds that are inside of the shop, the only other ones that do count as summer are basically the ones that you get from the exotic summer seed pack, which are the wild carrot, the pear, cantaloupe, parasol flower, rosy delight, as well as the elephant ears. The reason why this is important is because inside of the summer harvest event, you can only place in those specific fruits that I mentioned. All of the previous ones that are inside of the shop, carrot, strawberry, blueberry, tomato, as well as watermelon, you were not able to implement them inside of the cart. Therefore, they didn't count towards points on the entire event, which kind of upset a lot of people. And it really created this sort of confusion on which were summer fruits and which were not summer fruits. Aside from that, if you were in my live stream, you'll probably know that it also created this panic where we were basically spam planting cauliflower because it was, for one, the most available summer fruit, and it was just by far the most efficient to basically find space inside of your farm for and just have it grow really quickly in a large amount. Because obviously we can't forget about the fact that the reclaimer, which would make space for us to be able to put a lot of these summer fruits, is a 45-minute cooldown, so we can't really get a lot of them. Anyways, I digress. Let's get back to what the brand new buff is. So as mentioned before, here we are inside of the updates channel. And if you notice at the bottom, it says hosted by DJ Jahai, which is one of the developers. The very first one says that they've now made carrots, strawberries, blueberries, tomatoes, and watermelons count towards the summer fruits. This is huge because they are a lot easier to get. And even though they probably aren't going to provide the most amount of points towards it, you can still contribute at a smaller scale, and you don't sort of have to depend on having a full server of just pros. Instead, now even noobs can sort of take part in this event. Now, aside from that, they also adjusted some of the summer harvest rewards, which is actually huge because it makes things like the summer seed pack more available to those of you that are not spending Robux on these packs. Besides that, they also said that they made some minor changes to the summer harvest cart and a few small bug fixes where they finally went ahead and apologized. To a certain extent, this is a great sort of little buff that they went ahead and did. The only unfortunate reality about this is just simply the fact that you still sort of depend on an entire server to pretty much get this done. The sad reality is that every single time that you join a public server nowadays, you're either having people just steal from you, or you sort of just have people standing around doing nothing, not even taking part in the event. So it's kind of unfortunate, but at the same time, I do sort of understand because I have gone into public servers where it just seems like a lot of people didn't have the ability to buy large amounts of some of these summer fruits because, I mean, they were fairly expensive if you look at it from the perspective of somebody that's just starting the game. Now we can have somebody that only has like, I don't know, a couple thousand, and they can contribute with carrots, even though it's probably just going to give like a point or two. By no means am I saying that this is a huge game changer and that it's made the event like 1,000 times better or anything like that, but it is definitely a step in the right direction. I still sort of am a little upset that they haven't changed the reclaimer. Maybe it's just me and I'm just complaining a lot here, but I do feel like the reclaimer should be somewhere around like the 5 or 10 minute cooldown range, not really 45. But again, what do I know? I'm not a developer. I'd love to hear your opinion in the comment section. As of right now, the general chat in here is going absolutely ballistic. It's sort of like a mixture between people saying, you know, hey, we love the change, and people just saying L update. So I feel like at first it was a lot of people really upset, and now it's just sort of like right in the middle where a lot of people are upset, a lot of people are happy. Either way, we're pretty much going to go ahead and move on from that. Now for the rest of this video, I do want to cover a couple of different things regarding this event right over here that I wasn't able to go ahead and mention in my full guide videos. So for starters, one thing that a lot of you were asking me is what exactly is the fruit that's like the most efficient to go with. Obviously, prior to this update, it was the cauliflower. This was pretty much like the go-to. You go ahead and spam these over and over again, which I do have a couple in my inventory. And this was pretty much the meta for like the last, like 7-8 hours or however long it's been. Things are obviously going to be changing at this point now. Although I would like to point out that it's probably going to take a couple of hours before this even sort of takes effect. The reason for this is because, to my knowledge, I don't think they restarted all the servers. So unless you're in a server where on the top left it says version 1391, then you're sort of still in an outdated server. And to my knowledge, a lot of this stuff won't work. So make sure that you are in a public server that is 1391 for the version. Probably going to take a lot of server hopping, but obviously it's going to be worth it at the very end. I'm actually going to go ahead and see if I can join one just to sort of get a glimpse on what's going on in there and what's being said. And as a matter of fact, it didn't actually even take me that long. I literally just joined one that's 1391. Dude, these people are stacked. Look at this guy's base. It's actually super sick. Got a little market over here with kind of like a little bar section. This is pretty cool. Also, totally sidetracking here, but going back to the summer harvest event over here, one thing that I do believe hasn't changed is that you do still need 10,000 points in order to get pretty much like the largest lump sum of rewards. It's a little bit confusing right now. I feel like a lot of people don't fully understand even still. We're over here on this board where it says no rewards. It is where it's going to keep track of the reward tier that you've unlocked. It'll start off, I believe, as common reward. Then at like 1,000 points, it switches over to uncommon. At 2,000, it switches to rare. And at the very end of the 10-minute timer, when the summer harvest event ends, is when you will be given your full reward. You really can't miss it. It'll pop up on your screen every single time that you get a reward. It's handed to you pretty much individually in your inventory. Now, we actually just got ourselves another announcement from Jandel himself. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of saw this coming. But basically, he said, hey, everyone, we just released some improvements to the summer harvest event. So you can now submit seeds like carrots, strawberries, blueberries, tomatoes, and watermelons. We also improved some chances of the rewards. If these changes aren't enough, I'll fix it. Where then it basically goes on to say that he sort of assumed that it would be okay for the event to be basically mid this week, just because they were sort of like hyping up the entire seeds, the pets, the weather, and the gear. But obviously, no surprise, man. Everyone was extremely unhappy. And they're just going to continue to be, because what people look forward the most is to pretty much the event. I mean, either it has to be a really, really good event, very similar to like the crafting system, or like I've said many times before, you just have to add a brand new shop. Like that's literally the solution every single time that there's a new update. At the end here, he mentions that the entire team is really tired, which is fully understandable. These guys have been pushing out weekly updates. He also mentions that he's going to keep track of all of the feedback, and if anything, he will go ahead and make something bigger. So again, I sort of mentioned this during my live stream where I was like, this is kind of going to end up being like the night update where we ended up getting the blood moon, right? Usually it was like sometime during the week on Wednesday. This is more than likely what's going to end up happening here. I'm going to be completely honest. They'll probably end up doing something a little bit bigger and introduce it during the middle of the week. The only reason that I'm saying this is because now that Jandel has sort of given that as an option, people are just naturally going to riot so that way they can get more content. So it's sort of like a lose-lose situation for the devs. Either way, man, I'm going to read the comment section to this. I'll be replying to some of you guys to obviously the good ideas as well as my trolls. I love the trolls, dude. A lot of you were upset with how I was replying to the people in the full guide video, but like, guys, they troll me, I troll them back. I have nothing but time. You know what I'm saying? If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.